Hey, and welcome to the Jessica Paul podcast. I'm your host, Jess Paul, actress, manifestation expert, and mindset coach. And I'm here to share with you all of my secrets on confidence, success, and the magic of manifestation. If you're ready to dive in deep and see more success in your career, more money in your bank account, and more love in your life, with a whole new level of freedom, then you're in the right place. I'm letting loose on everything you need to take back control of your life, up-level your mindset, and tap into your manifestation powers. I'm so excited that you're here. Hello, you gorgeous souls, and welcome back to another episode of the JP podcast. It's me, your host, your manifestation mentor, your spiritual bestie, and all the things to help you manifest the life of your dreams. Welcome, everybody. So today, in this week's episode, we're going to be diving into a topic that actually I have been wanting to talk about for a while, and it's actually been a really highly requested episode as well, and especially actually from my little sister, my 14-year-old sister, and it's all about manifesting friendships into your life, right? Manifesting your people. So not just like any relationships, but like true, authentic, your vibe kind of person, right? And I think actually, this is a topic that doesn't get spoken about that much, but can be a really difficult thing for a lot of us to go through, like especially those of us that have gone through a spiritual awakening and changed a lot. But also just in general, I feel like people don't talk about this that much. And it's actually so important to be surrounded by the right people because, like I said before, you know, like you are the product of the 5 people that you spend the most time with in your life, right? And I've kind of mentioned in other episodes about how to maybe deal with negative people in your life, but how we manifest more of the right aligned people, like our tribe, our people into our life. That is what we want to discuss today. And it's actually a topic that I have worked through. I've had many a friendship wound, guys, in the past, and I want to get so open and brutally honest with you all in this episode. And funnily enough, because it's just been my birthday, it always seems to be on my birthdays that I reflect the most on this topic. So it seems fitting that we talk about it today. But first, we have our sponsor for this week, and it is the manifestation meditation that I brought out. It's a free meditation, guys, that you can go pick up straight away. You can download it straight away, and you can use it daily. This is a 5-minute meditation that I created for you to receive and call in those manifestations into your life. You can use it like literally every day, twice a day, whatever you want to do, just to open you up into that vibration. And I made it this length because I know that lots of you guys are busy, so you don't want to do like the long 20-30 minute meditations. This is short and sweet and to the point and it's completely free. So go ahead, hit the link in my show notes to grab that. Let me know how you found it. Give me a little tag on Instagram or just drop me a DM over on Instagram. I love receiving your DMs, and hopefully you enjoy it. And our life update for this week, of course, it was my birthday at the weekend. Thank you so much for everybody who reached out, sent me a little birthday message. It is so appreciated. And I spent the whole weekend with the most important people in my life, my close friends, my dear friends. My best friend, Jess, actually came all the way over from Mallorca just for the weekend to spend the weekend with me. So that was gorgeous. And we just had like a great night out. I mean, we had like a whole day out really, and then night out, and it was really fun. So much love and gratitude for all those people in my life. And we've moved into Libra season, which is the season of balance and actually weirdly relationships as well. So, you know, to talk about this topic as well makes so much sense. But I feel like a fresh new energy has come in. I was actually feeling really weird energy for like a good few weeks before my birthday weekend. I was feeling a little bit heavy, and there was like 1,000,001 retrogrades that we were in, including Mercury retrograde, and there was lots of kind of astrological things that were going on. So that's maybe the reason why, but I feel like we've just moved into a new fresh energy. So welcome to Libra season, guys. And and I've just had the best weekend ever. So diving into this week's episode then, right, this is all about manifesting those divine friendships into your life. And as I said before, I don't think this is a topic that's spoken about that much, but it's actually something that a lot of high achievers, I think, don't really talk about or even go into, but it's actually something that so many of us do have a few wounds over, and especially like this female friendship wound. And it's something that I had for so many years of my life when I was younger. It's all the way back from in high school. And funnily enough, like my little sister, she's 14 years old. She's going through like that classic high school stage. And she mentioned the other day, she's like, Jess, can you do an episode like on manifesting friends? Because I feel like I want to call in the right people into my life. And weirdly, one of my clients also kind of, we were mentioning kind of a similar thing about your people. Who are your tribe of people in your life? And so I thought, also, with it just being my birthday and always reflecting on this, I wanted to do a whole episode on it, because this is not only going to help like the friend relationships in your life, but all kinds of relationships. That goes for love and relationships. It also goes for like business partnerships. It also goes for just like any relationships that you may have in your career. Like if you're wobbling in this area of your life, like you're going to see it in other areas of your life, right? You know, even like that relationship you have with money and things like that, like it all kind of ties into the same thing. And for me, I suffered like quite badly with like a number of friendship wounds, and to this day, like still I get a little bit triggered by things, but like so much has shifted within me having done this work. And so I want to share with you basically 5 main ways that you can call in, cultivate, and also just like make space for the right people in your life. So over the years, I've manifested some of the best people I've ever met into my life, right? And a lot of it has come through this healing that I've done. A lot of it has come through the spiritual awakenings that I've had. And I know that also it can be incredibly lonely when you do have a spiritual awakening, and that I feel can be a whole topic in itself. But I feel that so much shifts in your relationships when you shift, right? When you start to change in your mindset and in how you show up in life, the relationships that you once had might not actually be aligned to you anymore. That is not to say that when relationships do break off, that it doesn't freaking hurt, okay? And I think that this has happened to me so many times in my life, and I'll be open and honest with you guys. Like, I've had so many wounds around this where I've, you know, let's say, for example, I've compared myself to my older sister, who has always had this like very, very strong, massive female friendship group in her life. And, or when, for example, one of my best friends literally back in 2020 broke up with me, right? And she never really spoke to me again. And these experiences really do bring up a lot of shadows within us and can trigger us quite a bit. But they also do really shape us. And I think that if you're someone that's trying to cultivate stronger friendships, relationships into your life, then you've got to understand that you can use these triggers. Like, this is the main thing about shadow work, guys, is that we can use our triggers to learn more about ourselves and expand into the best possible version of ourselves as well. So like I said, I've manifested some of the most amazing relationships, friendships into my life ever since doing this work, going on this awakening journey. And not only that, but like my community, like this community of people, you guys who listen to this podcast and everything like that, like I've cultivated so much love in my life through healing myself, which is probably like the main thing here. But that's kind of the obvious. And so I want to talk to you about some things that we can be thinking about to honestly like heal these friendship wounds, but also make space for the right people. Because one thing that I see most is that, apart from the obvious, like, you know, making sure that you hang around with people that like the same things as you, or put yourself out there, be yourself, all of those things. Like, people I find don't find their tribe because they're actually not making space for the right people to come in, because you're maintaining friendships with certain people in your life that maybe aren't right for you out of fear of being alone. So you actually don't let go of these people that are maybe holding you back. And I see that this happened to me, when I think way back, years ago now in my life, and I really didn't know who I was. I had to do a lot of work on like figuring out who the fuck I was anyway. But I also found that I was like clinging on to friendships that really weren't good for me. Actually, like some of them were quite toxic, and I was doing it because I was just fucking scared of being alone. And because of that, I was literally not allowing any space for the right people to come in. And when I went on my spiritual journey, what happened was the universe actually worked with me and was like, okay, well, we're going to rip this person from your life, and this person from your life, and this person from your life. And in a very short amount of time, like a lot of people dropped out of my life, and I was really hurt by it, you know? But I realized that was because they were not my people, and because I'd made such a huge shift in my own energy and my own vibration, I was then not in I was just not in alignment, like literally tuning a radio. I was just not on the same frequency as these people, and therefore they had to leave my life. And what happened is when they dropped out of my life, the right people came in. But I also had to work at this, guys. Right? I didn't just manifest these things just through my spiritual awakening. Like, I freaking worked on cultivating this community, cultivating the right people, cultivating my tribe. I did things to actually achieve that. And I want to talk through these five things to think about so that you can achieve that too. So the first way to manifest these divine friendships into your life is to stop settling for less. I speak about boundaries quite a bit. Like, I'm a Scorpio rising, so I'm pretty good at setting boundaries. But like, you know, if you really want to call the right people into your life, then you've got to be strict with yourself on who you're already hanging around with. I used to be quite bad at this, guys, because like I said before, I used to be so afraid of being alone that I would just hang out with just anyone just so that I wasn't by myself. And I soon realized that the people that I was hanging around with were shaping my life, my entire life. And that meant they were shaping my success as well. Or back then, lack of it, right? Because you are the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if the people you're hanging around with are low vibe or complaining a lot or not dreaming big or like keeping you small, then that's all you're going to see in your life. And so you've got to kind of like step up, set a standard for yourself, respect yourself, and go, actually, what do I deserve? Also, just know that we're put on this earth to enjoy the 3D. And I've spoken about this before, and I spent like a lot of my August this year enjoying the 3D, going out, drinking, having fun with people, right? But just because we're put on this earth to enjoy the 3D doesn't mean we have to enjoy it with unwoke people or unhealed people or people that are going to drag you down. You have a choice as to who you spend your time with. You have a choice as to what energy you surround yourself in. And that only comes down to you, okay? That only comes down to you. So if you know that one of your shadows is this fear of being alone, and you're just hanging around with just anybody because you don't want to be on your own and you don't want to, be that lone wolf, which, by the way, like, I am such a lone wolf. And I think that's why I found it so easy to, manifest the right people into my life, because I don't mind being on my own, right? But I had to work at that as well, guys, because there was a long period of my life where I was so scared of being on my own. I felt constantly lonely, okay? But you've got to set these boundaries, and you've got to not settle for less. There are people out there that are spiritual, that are, that believe in the same things that you believe in, that want to dream big, that want to cheer you on. There are people out there like that. And I think that we can sometimes just fall into this trap of going out and drinking and having fun and exploring the world with the wrong people just because we think that that's all there is. And I actually did even acknowledge this myself this summer, that August, where I was just, here, there, and everywhere. And I've realized it even upon reflecting over my birthday, like, who's actually sent me a birthday message? Who's actually reached out to me? And half the people that I spent time with this summer didn't even reach out to me to say a happy birthday. And that just goes to show that I spent a lot of my time and my energy with people that weren't on my level, and I didn't need to spend that time or energy with them. I have a choice in who I spend my time with. So, making sure that you set those boundaries with yourself and go, actually, what is it that I deserve? And when you can do this, you'll naturally start to see the friends that are not aligned to you or only ever benefited from you not setting those boundaries start to drop off. And that naturally makes space for the right people to come in. So the second way to cultivate these divine friendships is to actually stand back. A lot of the time, we can place expectations on our friends as to how they should be around us, how they should be treating us, how, you know, and again, that comes through the boundaries that you set for yourself, the standards you set for yourself, but also just know that you can't control how other people are with you, right? Because there's free will involved in this life, okay? So you can do all you want to manifest the right frequency around people, but you know, you can't decide what they're going to do, how they're going to react. And rather than like nagging people, you know, or rather than, you know, messaging people and saying, why weren't you a certain way with me? Why didn't you message me when I needed you? Why weren't you there for me? Instead of kind of feel like being the victim, as it were, in these situations, just stand back and let things play out and allow things, and know that obviously you're perfectly whole and complete by yourself, so you don't actually need anybody, right? You know, and yes, it's very important to set these boundaries. Like I said, that's the first point, but also to know that you can't control the situation. And often I find that just standing back and observing how they're being in that friendship with you says everything. And you can decipher yourself. You can feel it your way, and you can decipher yourself as to whether these are the right people to be in your life. And if they're not, and if they're really not stepping up and they're not making that effort with you, they're not the right people to be in your life. Sometimes we can place meaning on things and make it about ourselves when actually our friends could be going through something themselves, which we might not know about or we might not have acknowledged. And so I think it's really important that you make sure that you step back and you allow and you let go and you stop being so controlling around how your friendship should be, and just let things play out, because if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and you will feel that. And if you can work on being this naturally more forgiving and allowing person, then you're going to attract in naturally more forgiving and allowing people into your life. And that means either nurturing the friendships you already have or calling in even better friendships into your life. The third way to manifest divine friendships into your life is to know yourself and be so unapologetically true to that. So this again might seem like a really obvious one, but the reason that so many of us don't actually have those real like tribal, like amazing friendships in our life is because we don't know who the fuck we are. And if we don't know who we are, how can we expect anybody else to come in and be at our level? All we're going to be, if we don't know our own values and belief systems and desires, then how can we expect anybody else to match that? We're only going to manifest friends into our life that are equally as lost or confused and don't know themselves. And that's not the energy that we want to surround ourselves in. So knowing who you are is going to call in the people that are right for you. When I went through my spiritual awakening and I first started really talking about all of this stuff, you know, talking about manifestation, talking about the miracle aspects, you know, my angels, my guides, things like that, you know, there were people in my life that really just did not freaking get it, and they couldn't stand to be around it. And they're clearly not my people, because that's who I am, right? And there are equally friends that I've had for years that did get it, or at least wanted to understand it, like actually had the desire to understand it or found it interesting at least. Like, and they're the people that are my people, you know? And so being able to not only know yourself, but also actually speak about it and show up and be unapologetic about it, again, you're going to find the unaligned people will drop off and you'll make space for the aligned people. The fourth way to manifest divine friendships into your life is to focus on the people who already love you. There are people, listen guys, I don't know who you are or what stage you're at in your manifestation journey or your healing journey or where you're at listening to this, but there are people in your life who love you and love you for who you are, regardless of what you do, what you say, mistakes you've made, anything like that, right? Like I'm very, very lucky because I have such a strong family network. my family mean everything to me. My mum is my rock. Like she's always been there for me and always will be there for me. And so when I was going through this stage of when I first went through my spiritual awakening and there was people that were dropping off out of my life, or when I was going through or when I was in those really lonely periods of my life where I felt like my friendships weren't that strong, I always had my mum. Always, and I always have my family, and they're the people that I focused on. I especially saw this, guys, when when my ex-boyfriend broke up with me years ago, and who actually stuck around in my life then. It was really interesting to see, and again, I just stood back and I allowed, and I just saw who was there, who wasn't there, whatever, and I observed it all. But it was my mum, my sister, my close best friends, and I can count my close best friends on my hand, right? And they're the people that I focused on. They're the people that I paid so much gratitude towards. They're the people that I invested more into. I actually channeled even more energy into these people that I knew loved me already. And because I was cultivating so much gratitude and love towards those people, naturally, more aligned people came into my life, because it was like I was so grateful for what I already had that my community just grew and grew and grew, because they could feel that from me, So if you're feeling lonely and or if you just you're wanting better friends to come into your life, don't focus on the people that are making you feel like shit, or don't focus on the people that have, maybe done you wrong, or, haven't been a good friend to you, because all you're going to do is attract more of those people into your life. So focus on the people who already love you, and you will cultivate even better friendships in your life. The fifth and final way to manifest divine friendships into your life is to trust in the divine. So as I've said before, you're going to go through stages in your life where people will drop off. You might be broken up with by a friend. You might feel really lonely. You might feel like people aren't putting the effort in for you. There's a reason behind this, guys. I always find that when I'm going through an up level, there will naturally be relationships in that stage of my life that will drop off. There'll always be at least one that drops off with each new up level I have, because that's how we spiritually grow. We have to get rid of the things that aren't serving us. We have to make space for the things that really is aligned to us, right? So you're going to find that at every stage that you're in, at every level that you're in. You could have all of your shit together. You could be vibing really high and everything going well, and I guarantee that when you hit your next up level, there'll be at least one friendship or one relationship that breaks down, because not everybody is going to go on the same journey with you. Not everybody is going to up level at the same rate that you do. And I guarantee if you listen to this podcast, or if you have done any of my courses, or if you're just in my energy, you are up leveling at a freaking fast rate, okay? You are moving really, really quickly. Your vibration is sped up. So I also guarantee that there's going to be relationships in your life that drop off, and that's okay. And the key is to trust it. Trust it with everything in your body, because the universe is only ever going to bring you the things that are right for you. So obviously, we have to do the work in manifesting these friendships. Like anything, we've got to take the physical action, guys, if we want to manifest anything into our life. So these 5 things are things to think about, but this final point is basically trusting in the process, because you are going to have the right people at the right time. As long as you don't resist it, as long as you aren't focusing on the wrong people, and you're allowing and you are setting boundaries, the right people are always going to come into your life. And at the end of the day, guys, you've got to shift up your belief system around this, because if you are constantly telling yourself, or affirming to yourself, oh, I don't have many friends, or, I don't, people don't stick around for me, or whatever it may be, if you're constantly affirming that, then that is all you will ever going to see. And again, I can say this because I used to do that. I used to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so lonely. Why does everybody else have such strong friendship groups and I don't? That was a belief that I was holding. That wasn't actually my truth. And when I started to turn that around and transmute it into what I actually believed, what my actual truth was, which is I am surrounded by divine friendships. People fucking love me. People love to be around me. People want to be in my energy. You know, I'm only ever surrounded by people who love me, who are founded in love, right? That when you can shift up your belief system in that way, you're going to shift up your reality. So I think that that's also just a really important point here, is that if you are believing very negative things about your friend reality right now, then that is shaping your reality. So work on these points, work on your belief system, and you're going to see things shift. So on that note, guys, if any of you are feeling lonely, or like you've not found your tribe yet, you've not found your people, maybe you are going through a spiritual awakening, maybe you have had this big shift in your mindset, or things have changed in your life and you're noticing that you're different and therefore your friendships seem different, and you want to find that for yourself, you want to find your people, then come and join us. You know, I've got a whole community of people over on Facebook, over in the Mindset Miracles and Manifestation Collective, that you can literally go and join today and get to know these people. I've had so many, especially the women coming through my academy, they're all formed such strong relationships with each other because they're all in the same vibration. They are literally all on the same frequency, and they were meant to find each other. Those soul sisters in your life, like, you will find them when you just throw yourself into communities like this. So if you are feeling a little bit lost right now, or that you want to find those friends for yourself, get yourself inside our Facebook group, come and like introduce yourself, tell us a bit about yourselves, and don't be afraid to DM me. Just drop me a DM and be like, I want to be involved in this community. I want to be here with you guys because it feels right. The vibe feels right. Like, that's what we're here for. You know, that's why I created what I've created. That's why I have this podcast and the community and the academy and everything, because for me, it was such a big thing. It was finding my people and vibing with those people, because ultimately, guys, when you find those people, that's how you will see your success, because these people are there to aid in your success, right? We live in this collective community, like we live in a collective reality. When you can be around people that get you and want you to do well and like are just so on your side, you're going to manifest so much more quickly. You know, this is another big reason why I've seen so many quantum leaps in my life, because I have only ever surrounded myself with the right people. And like I said before, I'm good at setting those boundaries, but if you're not, make sure you're working on that. Make sure you are surrounding yourself with these people. And that's what we're here for. So if you've listened to the whole of this podcast episode, then you know that this community is the right one for you. So I'm hoping that this episode has been like quite refreshing for people, because like I said, it's not a topic that a lot of people talk about. It's not actually something I've opened up a lot about either myself, and especially with the wounds I have around it. Like, it's been a big thing that I've manifested, and so I hope that it's given you some value and inspired you as well. And just know that we're always here for you, and I love you so much, and I will of course chat to you all next week. Lots of love, guys. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who you think would love it too. And if you want to let me know how you found it, just screenshot this episode, add it to your Instagram story, and tag me at I am Jessica Paul, so that I can throw all the love right back at you. And of course, subscribe, hit those 5 stars, and leave a review to show your support and to keep the good stuff coming. Sending you so much love and gratitude from your girl Jess.